pull that down.
This is Just Fariano recording Mr. James Cooley with the Cooley FOUNDAtion. I'm interviewing him for a project based on my family violence course, and it will conclude of 14 questions based on his foundation and his perception of violence. So question one is, how would you describe your organization?
Well, first of all, I'd like to describe my organization as more of a mentorship program. My organization is geared to take all youth, young adults, communities, etc., to show them that we all are the same, for one thing. Mm-hmm. Secondly, it's geared to identify in our young folks that you are the leaders of tomorrow, and to equip them with the necessary skill sets and abilities to stand up and be the leaders of tomorrow. And my organization does this by doing motivational speech. We do this by doing group settings. We do this by doing some one-on-one. We do this by bringing the communities, churches, schools, etc. Most importantly, try to bring the parents into this, because our today's youth will be our future leaders of tomorrow.
Thank you. Next question. So far I've only seen your motivational speeches. But what type of students and people attend those speeches?
Well, let me tell you, a lot of people like to use the term at risk.
Okay.
In my opinion, all kids, all youth, all people have some what you call at risk. And it doesn't matter what your socio-economical background is. It doesn't matter what your educational level is. So I like to say my program is open up to everyone, because we all have I hate to say this, inner demons that we have to be able to deal with in order to survive, in order to progress through our lifetime. So I don't have one set of student or person or color or religion. It's open up to all. Mm-hmm. I believe that we all need to have mentors, advice, and be able to turn to others in order to answer some of the questions that we might have lingering in our head, in order to support us when we decide to, have these inner emotional problems where it could potentially cause you to do some things that you wouldn't normally do. So it's open to everyone. Black, white, pink, gold, purple, doesn't matter about the religion. We all have problems.
I do like that about your organization. It's like when the motorcycle guys came through, it was just because I know from experience that there's been a few issues out in this area with motorcycle gangs, and I didn't know what that organization was until I had to Google it. I like to be on my toes a little bit, so it was cool that you knew them too, because
I know them well. That's a Christian organization.
Yeah, so I looked it up and I was like, oh wow.
No. A lot of times we like to look at things from the physical perspective and the judgment. Mm-hmm. Even though those guys come with their bandanas and tattoos and this and that, each and every last one of those cyclists are God-loving people. Mm-hmm. It's a motorcycling is what they like to do. Mm-hmm. So my thing to you, Joseph, is try not to look at the outside and paint the picture. Mm-hmm. You have to understand a book, not just the cover of the book, mm-hmm. before you make judgment.
Right.
You have to understand that everything that appears to be the way it is not how it is. Mm-hmm. Look at life, not as it is. Again, I'm going to say this again. Mm-hmm. Look at life, not as it is, but work on life. Work on bettering yourself on how it should be.
I like that. So number 3. So in this course, we study statistics, causes, and effects of family violence. How does your organization foundation target to prevent that?
Okay, there's always situations and circumstances, and many different scenarios and situations. And we don't just say, okay, we're only going to deal with kids that are getting suspended or this or that. We're only going to deal with kids that done had a nervous breakdown or something like that. We look at each and every situation differently, because every kid, every young adult, every grown up, everybody is different. I like to use the term, one shoe do not fit all. You might have a big person with a size 14 feet, and you might have a small person with a size 4 feet. If you try to do the same things, and this is what I call principles and methods. Principles and methods. If you try to use the same shoe size to fit both, you're going to have problems. Principles are things that we live by and abide by, and those are set pretty much in stone. And so those are the building blocks of it. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt whatever that is. Those are principles. But how you communicate with certain situations and circumstances with individuals, even though you're putting the same principles out, your methods are different, because you cannot communicate with the same person, with different people, or with different type of messages, just like the shoe size. If you try to put that size 4 shoe on a guy or a girl that got a size 14 feet, it ain't gonna fit. Now, if you try to take the size 14 shoe and put it on the size 4 feet, the feet will fit in now, but they won't be able to walk. They're gonna fall over. So you have to tailor whatever the prevention method to the situation at large. So you ask how do we handle that? Well, we look in, we analyze, we come up and make sure we got the right resources to deal with the problems that we have in order to come up with a solution.
So I did read your biography and your background. So based on your life experience, and that could be your upbringing, your education, what you've learned working with your own foundation, what makes you a qualified individual to help the at-risk teens?
Well, I don't know if anyone is there to be qualified. I don't know I don't know how society measures certification. I just know that I do have all of those. I'm talking about certificate on paper, but that doesn't make you qualified.
Right.
What I think that helped me tremendously is my upbringing and being in those situations and circumstances that most of our youth and our families, etc., is going to experience. I only deal with things that I know from a personal perspective. I cannot tell you how to do something, or you better do this, or you better do that, without me already knowing. And I would never say you better. My philosophy is I believe, I think, I feel. This is what I would do based on my situation, circumstances that I have experienced in life. Now, whether that makes you qualified or not, that's a societary measurement. But academically, if you was just looking at bio and educational levels and etc. certification, well, we got all that, but that doesn't make me qualified. It just makes you certified. Qualifications come from how you deal with people in life and how people respond to you in life. Because if the sender's message is diluted somewhere down the line, the receiver at the end is not going to get the message right, and they're not going to be able to respond. So that's how I deal with it. I talk with each and every individual if I get an opportunity, or when I'm speaking in the Lord's setting on 100, 200, 3,000, 4,000 people. People raise their hand, bring them up, and I want to hear from them. So you have to listen to others. And a lot of times, I think you might want to remember this one, the CCU, and leadership and counseling and anything that you do. I believe that this theory, the CCU, stands for chaplain, coach, and umpire.
One more time.
Umpire. And my philosophy is sometimes people only want to be listened to. I mean, they come up, they have a problem, they come to you, then they want to talk. And you have to be able to just close down, just listen to every word. Every word that they have to say. And it might take a little time. And most of the time, people just want to talk. They do not want feedback from you. They just want you to hear them. So you have to be able to just listen. A lot of time I listen to people. Don't even say a word. When they finish, I give them a hug. And they go on their way. Okay. They good. Because that's the chaplain in the CCU. Other times, people might come to you and they might not have a clear picture of what's they're going and what the problem is, or situation or circumstances. And you have to look at past experiences, or you have to look at situations where you have to say, well, if it were me, this is what I do. I would do this. Have you thought about this? Or have you thought about that? You know, so I mean, I believe that if you do this, you might get this result. The key to that, as coaching, is never take ownership of a person's problem. Never take ownership of it. Because the minute you take ownership, you own the problem, not them. They're going to turn around and walk away because you told them to do this. And when they go and do whatever you told them to do, if it ain't right, they're going to blame you. You know, as an umpire, when you have somebody, well, you know, I thought about killing myself. I'm just going to jump off the building. Stop! Now, you have to kind of take ownership of it. It ain't that bad. Nah, you're out. I mean, stop. Strike one. As an umpire. And your focus is to try to pull them away from whatever that negativity is, by taking control of the conversation, not the situation. Taking control of the conversation, not the situation. And let them know that, hey, it ain't that bad. You still living. I mean, you woke up today. Yeah, we all have issues and concerns. Sometimes we have no control over it. We have no control over it. We only do the things that's in our power to do. If we don't have control over it, let it go. Let it go. Or you're out. Strike three, you're out. We don't have to always go for just other things. We can do a intentional blunt. Or we can sit back and just wait on it and maybe get a walk. But we don't have to go down striking every single time. So sometimes you have to take control of the conversation, not the situation. Situation still belongs to the person. So that's what I mean by that.
How do you connect with the youth you are currently serving?
One thing, I think communication is the key. A lot of connection is, I have been doing this for quite some time. So most of the communities, most of the schools, most of the counselors, most of the churches, they know who I am, based on my website, based on the things that I do, based on my relationships with others. And so I get calls from the schools or churches or whoever might have a young man or young woman that might be experiencing some issues or circumstances that they think that I might be able to help out with. A lot of time, I'm able to connect through my videos, through my speaking engagements, through invitations to certain events, organization, etc. We connect by having strong relationships with the leaders of the city, for city council, mayor, governor, whoever that might be. And it's just being visible, being able to put out a positive message, and most importantly, if you talk the talk, you better walk the walk. If you talk the talk, you better walk the walk, because it's all about honesty, integrity, and ethics. Honesty, integrity, and ethics.
Okay, so what are some of the challenges you face when you're helping the youth?
A lot of times you face challenges, resource challenges, right? We like to award our youth with scholarships, internship programs, a lot of different things. A lot of times people look at you from the outside and they don't see that this could potentially be helped. They look at you and they see color. Oh, he only dealing with the black kids, or he only doing this and he only doing that. I hate that because I don't see color. I don't see black, white, pink, gold, or purple unless it's brought to my attention and somebody making a mistake. So resources and the negative connotations, what people see and not sponsor you because they don't think that this is what it is. Other things are being able to relate to a lot of the kids that you think have potential, but the parents don't want to be involved. They just want to pass the kids off to you, so you can be the parent and you can raise them and you do whatever you want to on a weekly basis. If that one time that you see the kid, so that's without positive reinforcement. If I can sit back and teach you all I want, but if you're not reinforcing positively at the house, you ain't got yourself nothing. And just getting the city, in this case we live in Temecula, getting our government to understand and not go and stay out the political side of this, that we are building and we are instilling, and we need to make sure that today's youth are prepared to take the torch to be leaders of tomorrow. I think there is a disconnect because our leadership sometimes only think money for what they want, and they're rejected, not our youth or community or society.
So this is a yes or no question, but there's two parts, so the second one's a little bit more in depth. You work hands-on with violent individuals or those that are affected by violence?
Yes, I am. I get called out to the schools. Case in point, we had Fallbrook High School about a year and a half ago. A lot of violence there for as the students going out tearing up the school and throwing pianos and stuff like that in the swimming pool. And we also had a kid that hung himself because he was being bullied. And again, that a lot comes from the parents. But violence, we're called upon to do all we can in our power, to J.C. Cooley power, to help out. We're not experts in resolving violence, as far as crimes and this and that. We're mentors and leaders, but we do get called on occasionally to come in and provide input and talk to certain kids or their families, etc., to make sure that we are working the best we can. We have interns. We have 5 interns in my program. Currently, we get ready to get a lot more that I have placed around in certain areas like the foster home, group homes, the high schools, middle schools that understands, and they work with the counselors and they work with specialists to do all we can to help out, to help resolve some of these problems, talk to the parents, and etc. We have programs where we get a lot of kids together and we take them on mission trips. Mission trips, most of our mission trips have been overseas in Mexico, so it requires a passport, visa, etc. And what we do, we go there, or even in the States, we build houses together. Everything is geared toward identifying things that our youth can build upon later in everlasting experiences. Building a house in 6 hours from scratch is remarkable, and the kids are primarily doing these things. Now we have a design where it's cookie cutter, where we cut the wood to a certain amount, and we allow the kids to pretty much do most of the work. So, and sometimes you take a kid that is doing violently things and put them in an environment where they're building things and working with a team. Teamwork is the key. Teamwork is the key. The most important thing about this, when you have kids that are not working together, you have to keep in mind it's not about the I, the me, or the my. It's not about the I, the me, or the my. Everything is about the we, the us, and the R. It's getting all these kids, all the community, the churches, the family, to concentrate on the we, the us, the R, which equals teamwork.
Okay. That answers the second part. Thank you. So if you can't answer this one, totally fine, but with privacy in mind, could you give an example of some of the individuals you have helped that are undergoing a violent life?
Well, we help kids that one individual I know ran away from home about 3 or 4 times. The counselors put him involved with me, and I had him working in my program, doing certain things to help set up the program. I'm talking about when we do our inspirational breakfast. Totally put them involved in that. I took those type of individual on fishing trips, trips overseas. Just doing a lot of things that we do. Have the individual over my house, helping do things to get an understanding where they can make a little money or whatever. I just give it to them, but just working with them and showing that we care. We care. A lot of other things. We try to place kids that are having problems. I place them, and depending on what their likes and dislikes, depending on what type of qualities and talent that they may have, into roles where they're playing, acting, singing, etc. To try to bring out the me in them, the me meaning them, their me, not my me, on what they are here for. So we have done a whole lot of things like that, and plus other things that if they progress throughout the program over a period of time, we have given scholarships out to them. So last year we gave away over 30 scholarships, and our goal is to do the same thing this year, but only from achieving students that they really get it.
So I read it a while back, but did you ever, as a kid, experience or see violent behavior among the neighborhood, or?
Okay, I grew up in the project. I grew up where violent behavior was the norm.
Okay.
Seeing people get shot or killed was the norm. Gangs was the norm. And I had a chance to look at this at first hand, experience this at first hand. And in my mind, coming up for a little while as a kid, I wanted to be the same as everybody else was. But I had an opportunity, if you read my book, My Path, to get away temporarily because my mom had 10 kids, and she was a single parent, and she had 6 different fathers of her kid, and she couldn't afford to take care of all of us. So she chose 2 of us to get away for temporarily to go to Alabama, where my focus in Alabama changed, where I had an opportunity. I felt love. We didn't have a whole lot. And I was there for 5.5 years. And when I came back from Alabama back to Tennessee, the same environment existed. I still saw death. I still saw this. I still saw gays. I still saw all this. But my focus was a little bit different because I had to come up with solutions for myself, even at a young age, that I did not want to be a part of that type of community. So leaving it, getting away for a while and coming back kind of shape your focus. I had the opportunity to experience all of these things and chose to go a different path.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Kind of answered this one too, but just to expand further, based on your experience, your childhood education, your foundation, what happens to a child when exposed to violence?
Well, a child exposed to violence, many times, if they are exposed to that in that situation for an extended period of time, they think it's a norm. And a lot of times, I don't know if you know about what we call the imprinting phenomenon. If you're in a situation or around a group or whatever that might be, the imprinting phenomenon will shape you if you're not strong enough to understand. And you become a figment of your situation that you're in. You become a product of the situation. So the key to that is to, if you can, is try and find a way out. One thing that, as you mentioned, that I talk about birthrights, and birthrights are confidence, courage, hope, belief, most importantly, faith. And we all, regardless of what situation or circumstances that we have the same birthrights. But same common, make sure you put common, we have the same common birthrights. But we also have the birthright that is given to us at birth from our maker, or whatever you might think, that make you uniquely different than everybody else. Even though you're born in those situations or circumstances, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to stay in those situations or circumstances. Once you figure out who you are, once you know who you are, know yourself, everything about you, accept yourself, then love yourself, then you can share yourself. So these situations make you stronger in violent situations, circumstances, environment. But you have to be able to identify what is going to, what is your purpose in life? What are you doing? I mean, that situation do not define you. It doesn't define you. You have to define yourself. So, yes, I had an opportunity to grow up in most of my life in a situation, but I figured out what was right and what was wrong. And that comes from a self perspective. And you cannot put that on society, because we all got the same birthrights, common birthrights. But then you take your individual birthright, which separates you from others. No one has the same one as you do, to determine what's right and what's wrong.
Next one. How would you go about...
Is this making any sense to you?
Yes. Yeah. I just kind of process things. Now, I usually think about things like later, and things begin to click and things like that. So, yes, it is. How would you go about handling cases of violence?
Well, I look at it like this. I don't think there is any particular formula or solution to handle violence. I think that when it comes down to violence, we understand is two things that we can do, especially if we're in the middle of the violence. Mm-hmm. We can react, what I call reacting, or we can create, which I call creating. If you look at that, both of the word and creating and reacting is the same words, but has two different meanings. What I have learned over the years, that initially I reacted with the violence, and I made the wrong decision by going in and doing these things. Mm-hmm. Over a period of time, as I seasoned and grew, I learned to create. Reacting, you do what the first thing that comes to you. Yes, what you do. I mean, somebody come, you swing, you punch, you kick, you take a bat, you do all of that. Those are reacting. Mm-hmm. And 90% of the time, we choose the wrong option. Reacting only give you one option. You're going to do first thing come to your mind. Mm-hmm. Creating, you have that split second to think about what's going on in the situation. If we create, that means you take that split second, you have 6, 7 more options. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it took me a while because of the environment that I grew up with when I got away from that. And I had an understanding. I'm talking about getting away from it altogether, leaving Chattanooga when I was 18 years old, mm-hmm. Entering the Navy, entering life, and things develop in life. Mm-hmm. I had an opportunity to grow and understand. So I took my upbringing, which was totally violent, and I did not forget about those things, but I don't use those things. I turned it around to the power of positive thinking. There's positivity in everything. We just have to be able to think about things and come up with as many options as we can, opposed to reacting and having only one option. Most people will react. I say 90% or more of society will react because they lack the understanding of attitude. Attitude. And we talk, and I give this lecture on what I call the ACE program. The ACE stands for attitude, commitment, and enthusiasm. If you got the right attitude to doing the right thing or whatever that might be, the attitude, you will make the right decision. Mm-hmm. If you can commit it to doing the right things in respect to others, you make the right decision. Mm-hmm. If you approach things because it might not look a certain way on the outside, and just enjoy the opportunity to be able to do it even if you don't like it. Mm-hmm. You have to be enthusiastic about everything that you do.
You got 4 more questions.
Cool.
Or 3, sorry. I think you're doing a great job. I really enjoy what I've seen so far, so I do want to be a little bit more hands-on. But how do you feel you can improve your foundation?
I can improve my foundation by, I believe, by making sure that the people that are in the foundation understand the philosophy and the mission. I believe we can improve this by, just like I mentioned to you about the ACE program, by ensuring that each member of the foundation fully understand the ACE, attitude, commitment, and enthusiasm. I believe that we can do this by reaching out to others, and most importantly, putting our wants aside to help others in need. I believe that we need to probably get the right folks on with the right skill set that help us fundraise, mm-hmm. And get the resources that we need so we can do a whole lot more things for the foundation. For the foundation, meaning communities, churches, kids, etc. So it's a whole lot of things that I believe that we can improve. It's not just one; it's hundreds. Right. But those are the leading ones. Is having the proper resources, having the right people, placing them in the right positions, and advocating for respect, mm-hmm. kindness, and love, regardless of your situation or circumstances. Did I give you a package? Everything that our foundation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it should be the 6 steps of the J.C. Cooley Foundation. There's 6 key pillars.
Yes.
So,
highlighted one of them.
if I were you, I would make sure that those are known in your paper. That's important. And plus, since I know Mrs. Shellhammer already know that, she's going to be looking for that.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How do you consider the voice of your, Mr. Professor Shellhammer calls them clients, but just the people you're serving? How do you consider
the voices? The voices? Oh,
yeah.
You said voice or voice?
Voices.
Okay. I believe that, if you create a positive environment and you allow everyone to have a platform, case in point, like I did the other day when I went around and asked every single kid in there what was on their mind, what they wanted to do. I think being heard, your audience or whoever that is so important to the successes or ensuring that you have the right program to support the needs of everyone. Now, the needs are different, and you have to listen to everyone. You have to give everyone an opportunity to let you know what's on their mind, to let you know. One of the sayings I always say, I come up and say, Joseph, what can I do today to bring a smile to your face? What can I do today to ensure that, whatever issue that you might have that I can help resolve? Being able to just sometime walk up and just ask those type of questions. But most importantly, it's giving everyone a platform to say what's on their mind, because their problem might be different than the next person. The next person's problem might be different. We cannot assume. So we cannot assume. We cannot assume that everyone has the same exact problems. Listening. That's why God gave us 2 ears and He gave us 1 mouth. We should listen twice as much opposed to speaking.
I said that to someone the other day.
You stole my stuff.
Yeah, because this kid doesn't stop talking. So I'm like, look, I heard you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. You listen more than you talk. And he's like, oh, that's true.
I bet he started laughing.
Yeah. Last one. What types of feedback have you received from your clients or people you're serving?
My program? I mean, we've been getting a lot of 5 stars. They get a chance to rate us. If you go to the J.C. Cooley website, I have never received any, me personally, from a feedback other than a 5-star in writing. Some people tell me that, hey, if we did this, it would be better if we did that, and we work on those types of things. Most of the feedback I get is you're doing a tremendous job. Keep it up. We need more. We need to expand this, not just in California, not just in certain states, but we need to expand this globally. Everyone need to understand love, understanding commitment, and most importantly, respect. Everyone need to understand that there is no difference in you're not superior because you're a certain color, or you got a certain religion, or you do this. That does not make you better than anybody else. And our program is open. We don't care. I mean, it doesn't matter what type of lifestyle you're living. If you're gay or whatever, I don't care. You're loved in my program. I mean, so we're open to everyone, and and we're not pointing fingers, and we don't do that. A lot of things that I get feedback is, Mr. Cooley, you love. It's all about love. We care. We care. The J.C. Cooley Foundation cares about our community, our society, our world. And the J.C. Cooley program will make sure, based on the 6 pillars, that that's what we represented all the time.
This is Joseph Ariano and James Cooley concluding the interview. Thank you.
I want to say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph is an outstanding intern. Outstanding person, first of all. Intern with my program. I see great things coming from him. I think Joseph just need to, really go and understand himself, like do an evaluation completely, the good, the bad, things that keep him up at night, the things that bothers him. He need to get an opportunity to know himself completely, honestly, not the side that he showed to the world, but the side that's the personal side that only he sees when he's by himself. And once he does that, he needs to accept that this is who Joseph is. And once Joseph accepts that, he needs to love that this is Joseph. Man, I don't care what anybody say or think about me. This is who I am. And once you're able to do that, you're able to share who you are and be the same and not worry about a lot of these things that's going to come in. The negative things that are coming in. And I mentioned Joseph, but I think that we as people in general, everyone need to follow that. Know yourself, accept yourself, love yourself, and then share yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.